Chapter 6. On the Road. The music blared through the car radio. The sounds wafted over Kobe's ears, making him feel transported to another place. He'd never heard music like this before. It was punishing and delicate at the same time. His excitement rose at the prospect of seeing them perform, even more so now after hearing the festival details. Kobe nodded along happily to the music, oblivious to the world outside the car. He did not hear the tick-tack of high heels approaching the car on the concrete. Only until a gentle knock on the glass did Kobe realize there was a large pair of breasts pressed against the glass in a low-cut black top. Kobe wrenched his eyes up to reveal a black-haired woman with black sunglasses, a mischievous rouge-lipped smile upon her face, staring down at him. "Hey there, stud," she purred in an American accent. "Can I talk to you?" Kobe switched off the radio, doing his best to avoid the distracting sight of her chest. I stammered Kobe, overwhelmed by her existence and proximity to him. "Wind down your window. I want to see that pretty little thing on your finger," she said seductively. Kobe did so, her breasts falling into the car, even more pronounced. "You got a VIP pass, huh?" she said, as Kobe tried to keep his eyes anywhere but on her. "Where did you get that?" "Why, Ted," fumbled Kobe. "I know what you mean, handsome," she purred. "I go way back with those whiteheads. I'm Tia, by the way." She extended a black fingernailed hand. Kobe reached out with the VIP pass on his finger and shook it, her hand soft and tender. A shiver went through his body at her touch, like being dunked in ice. Tia shivered too, her whole body shaking, making Kobe blush as everything wiggled around. My, we have chemistry," she said, sounding a little bit woozy. "Sorry, began Kobe. "No need to apologize, darling. I had a bit of a head spin there," she corrected herself. "You know how that VIP pass works?" "No, not really," Kobe admitted. "It's easy. Let me show you. Can you give me your hand again?" Kobe lifted his hand as she brought both soft and tender icy hands and wrapped them around his wrist, locking it firmly. "What do you—" began Kobe, but she shushed him. "You'll like it. All the boys do." She brought her head into the car, rouge lips opening, and slowly slid down onto Kobe's middle finger. Kobe felt his manhood stand to attention as she wrapped her mouth tightly onto his finger and moved it up and down. Deeper and deeper she went until she finally reached the VIP ring at the base and took hold of it in her mouth. Kobe felt himself close to climax when he heard the sound of swallowing. "Ah," she said, as though finishing a meal. "That's tasty." "Did you just—" began Kobe in disbelief. "Eat your VIP pass?" said Tia. "Indeed I did. It was very yummy. It will go well with all my other treasures I've collected. I'm hoping for some more, though. I'm always hungry for more," she said, her voice sounding different. "But now I can't get into the festival," said a bewildered Kobe. "Oh dear," said Tia, mocking sadness. "Now you'll just have to run home to your grandmother's house and stay there like a good little Red Riding Hood. Just don't expect her to be the wolf, though." She brought her face into the car. She pulled down her sunglasses, revealing a pair of black eyes. She opened her rouge lips wide, revealing horrible glistening metal fangs and putrid breath. "Because I am the wolf!" Kobe yelled and threw himself away, hitting his head on the passenger door. The world went blurry and splotchy. He heard the sounds of high-pitched laughter. "Stay away from the festival, Kobe, or I will eat you." Kobe slowly regained his senses and saw that she was gone. Kobe lay still, sprawled across the two seats of the car. "See him? Did he go somewhere?" said a familiar voice, growing louder. "I see him. He's laying down," said Solomon, appearing above him. "The seats recline, you know. Or in the back seat. What are you doing laying there?" Solomon opened the passenger door and Kobe almost fell out, caught by the elf before he hit the ground. Solomon lifted him up and Kobe staggered to his feet, leaning his body against the car. He felt all his strength sap from his body. "You okay, Kobe? You look terrible," said Solomon. "You'd be rough as well if you slept like that," remarked Ruby, coming into view. Kobe didn't know what to say. The image of the metal-pointed teeth burnt into his memory, his eyes aglaze. Ruby stared at him critically. "What's that all over your hand?" Kobe lifted his hand to see stains of lipstick on his middle finger. "Where is the VIP pass?" said Ruby, alarmed. Kobe didn't respond, his mind a jumble of images and soul-crushing realities he did not want to voice. "Kobe!" said Ruby in his mind, cutting through the noise and startling him. "What happened?" Kobe spoke very softly and slowly as he recounted the events to the pair. Their faces changed independently as Kobe introduced Tia's appearance and unique skills. Solomon was very intrigued, Ruby grimacing and giving sharp elbows to Solomon's torso. It was not until the metal teeth did the horror unite on both of their faces. "She told me not to go to the festival or she'd eat me," finished Kobe, feeling exhausted. There was a long silence as the information sank in. "Did you see her face at all, Kobe?" asked Ruby. Kobe tried to recall, but only remembered breasts and teeth. He shook his head no. "So a woman with metal teeth and huge knockers sucked off your VIP pass from your finger and ate it," said Ruby. Kobe nodded shamefully. "We need to get it back," she said plainly. "How are we going to get it back? She ate it," said Solomon. "She'll be there. Without a pass, she's not getting in, which means she'll likely be hanging out at the main entrance. That's where we'll find her, and we'll get it back." The boys looked at her like she'd gone mad. "It makes logical sense. If she wants to get into the festival, she'll need to bring it back up. We'll try the toilets first. Plus, from where you describe her as, she'll be a blackhead." "A what?" said Kobe, confused. "You've got to be joking," said Solomon. "They wouldn't be bold enough to see in broad daylight." "Not to someone like you and me, perhaps, but to him," she said, pointing to Kobe. "It's just a pretty woman doing anything to get inside." "Sorry, but what's a blackhead?" "Where a whitehead works for Abe, a blackhead works for the cosmocracy. They are a corrupt government and exploitative technology companies rolled up into one big evil corporation," explained Solomon. "They have trillions of dollars and access to nearly everything there is on the planet, except one thing, the Prism Music Festival. She won't be able to get in, not even with the VIP pass. The scanners will pick her up, and she'll have to give up the pass. We'll just need to get there first and explain that it's Kobe's," said Ruby. "Will she give it up?" asked Solomon. "Probably not," said Ruby. "But if Abe knows Kobe is coming, with or without the pass, we'll have to find a way to get him in. We've got the passes to get in there already. We'll just have to find a whitehead and tell them that Kobe's waiting outside." "You sound awfully sure. Maybe the blackhead is right. Maybe I should just go home," said Kobe, remembering the teeth and the warning. Solomon and Ruby exchanged glances. "Are you serious? After everything that's happened to you? Listening to a secure mind link, the computers, the VIP pass, the chance to find out who you are?" pleaded Solomon. "You really want to go back to your grandmother's house?" Kobe felt his words sting. "No, but I'm scared." "Being scared means you're doing the right thing," quoted Ruby. "Who said that?" asked Solomon. "Abe," she said with a flash of a smile. "Now get in the car and put on your costume. We've got a festival to go to." The trio set out from Ginger's main street and out into the outskirts. "You know, I've never been this far out of town before," remarked Kobe, staring out the window as the sun began to set. The houses lining the streets began to lessen as the trees and vegetation multiplied, and soon there were no houses at all. "The map's saying it's an hour or so to get there. Let's go through our game plan again," said Solomon. "We'll be near the women's toilets at the entrance. We'll wait for her to finish and get back the ring," said Ruby matter-of-factly. "How do you plan on getting it back?" asked Solomon with a hint of doubt. "Asking for it, flanked by a whitehead," she replied. "You think a whitehead will scare her into doing what we want?" Solomon replied. "Maybe, maybe not. I know that Kobe needs it to get inside the festival, or we don't get backstage. We will need to try," she said emphatically. Kobe listened on, feeling a swell of kinship with the two people he'd only just met a few hours before. He went to say something but stopped himself, worried they'd think him sappy or foolish for telling them he liked them. "You okay back there, Kobe?" asked Solomon, turning around. "Yeah, I'm okay," he replied. "Bet you're glad you went to the library today, huh?" he said with a laugh. "I guess so," replied Kobe, somewhat unsure of how he should feel. "You'll have a great time. Don't worry. Me and Rubes will get you in. We've never missed a festival." Kobe's curiosity spiked. "How long have you two known each other?" "Since the PMF in England, wasn't it?" Solomon asked Ruby. "Yes, it was in London. I think the Chemical Brothers headlined one of those nights." "That's right," recalled Solomon, "as well as the Beastie Boys and AC/DC." "Oh yeah, AC/DC was so good," she said, and began tapping on the steering wheel and humming a riff Kobe didn't recognize. How did you meet? Did you just run into each other? Kobe asked. We'd been chatting on the Prism servers prior to that. It's a place to meet online. Abe set it up securely outside of the Cosmocracy's control, he said, gazing into the rearview mirror as he noticed the confused expression on Kobe's face. Anyway, we both turned 18 and can go to the festival. Finally, we had a chance to meet up, and we've been close ever since. We've both been avoiding our families, so when the festival was over, I went back to America with Solomon, and we've been following the PMF ever since, said Ruby. Yep, 5 festivals we've been to. This'll be our 6th, said Solomon proudly. You travel the world? Said Kobe in astonishment. Backpack, more like. I left my family fortune behind, and Solomon comes from a poor family, but we get by. There's always work for us. What do you do? Asked Kobe. I'm a software developer, said Solomon. That means I can make things happen on a computer, phone, or whatever is needed. Ruby is an analyst who can translate what the business asks for and what software developers like me need to do. I can talk nerd and I can talk human is what he means, she said snidely. Hey, said Solomon as Kobe laughed. We can both get jobs pretty easily. With the tech explosion, there was always companies hiring people, said Ruby. We just don't take any cosmocracy jobs, said Solomon. Though that is proving more difficult as they buy up companies and startups. I don't think there'll be many left, save for Prism soon. The pair fell silent as they drove along the road. The sun was beginning to set, casting a red glow across the horizon of the trees that stretched out into the forest. The road began to wind as they travelled, with dips and rises making Kobe feel sick. He gazed out the window in hopes of feeling better, and saw an odd shape in the bushes. It was black and moving quickly alongside their car before darting ahead and disappearing. Kobe shook his head and asked, How much further is it? It should be around the next. Watch out! Screamed Solomon as a gigantic tree fell across the road before them. Ruby slammed on the brakes. The trio were driven forward in their seats and the car halted just before the tree. Kobe heard a car behind them screech their brakes, unaware that other cars were following. He heard a car door open and a familiar voice begin to shout. What do you think you were doing stopping so suddenly? You almost made me crash into you. Kobe saw a man walk past his window and his blood turned to ice, his body big and broad. Ruby wound down the window. That tree is on a blind corner. I couldn't have known about it, now could I? She said directly. Ashley Nadord appeared in the window, his grey eyes narrowing in anger. Kobe shot down out of sight as Ashley said, Well, you should be more careful. I'm a VIP, and I expect to travel safely. Kobe heard him walking back to his car, muttering curses and slamming his car door loudly. Charming, said Ruby. Is he gone? Asked Ruby, tentatively peering up. He's gone. Now how are we going to get this tree out of our way? Asked Ruby. We should be in range of the festival. I think I should be able to use the mind link, said Solomon. He closed his eyes, and after a few moments he said, I'm in. They just need to find. Aha! He fell silent, his appearance like that of meditation Kobe has seen his grandmother sometimes doing. Okay, they know about the tree, said Solomon. They are going to send a whitehead to investigate. A flash of white appeared before them, like a cloud forming before their eyes, but shaped as a person, and then solidifying to reveal a whitehead. It was a male. Hello there, he said with a smile to them. I can clean this up. Just wait in the car, please. Kobe watched as the whitehead shifted the enormous tree by himself, its broken trunk scraping across the ground until the road was cleared. You may proceed now. I will investigate the cause of the fall, he said, and wandered into the dense trees and out of sight. A car horn sounded behind them, making them all jump. Get a move on, yelled Ashley from outside his window. Ruby swore loudly and proceeded along the winding roads cautiously and slowly, as though wanting to infuriate Ashley further. The winding road eased out, and a long straight rise could be seen. The sun had set, and the bright glow could be seen in the distance. We should see the grounds at the top, said Solomon eagerly. Kobe moved forward in his seat as the car climbed the hill, protesting loudly to the steep incline. Kobe watched. Three, two, one. Kobe watched out of the front window as they reached the peak and beheld the sight he could only have imagined in his dreams. Set inside a circle surrounded by tall trees was an illuminated white castled city. It had turrets that jutted upwards like huge skyscrapers, while below there were forts and houses. The city was set before a high wall that pressed against the trees surrounding it. There were roller coasters, Ferris wheels, and carousels. It shone with a reverberant glow that seemed to entice and welcome. As the car went down the other side of the hill, he could see hundreds of white tents stretched across the field in symmetrical rows. He made out large stages where he saw a mass of people gathered together, illuminated like a glowing sea under the bright white lights. Set on either side of the stages were large screens showing the people performing. Kirby saw groups of people on stage playing instruments, whipping the crowd into a frenzy. "We missed the opener," said Ruby solemnly. "We've seen them before, remember? They played in Tokyo," said Solomon. "Besides, they've only just started. We might catch them if we can get Kobe inside." "Let's hurry up then," said Ruby, accelerating down the hill and towards the festival grounds. Kirby could hear the muffled music wafting through the air as they drove closer, the sound oddly familiar for some reason. "Who is that playing?" he asked. "The Living End. Great local act you guys have. We try and see all the bands if we can, but that tree collapse cost us some time." "A bit odd the Whiteheads weren't on that sooner. Would have thought they would be monitoring the only road in and out more closely," said Ruby. 3, 2, 1. "Dunno. Could it just have happened?" said Solomon. "Trees fall lots this time of year, I've read. It's because everything's so dry. Big problems with wildfires. Sorry, bushfires, apparently. Abel no doubt be all over it, though. He's got the safest festival by far compared to everyone else." Kobe had not told the others the flash of black he'd seen prior to the tree falling. Maybe it was just his imagination. It did look kind of like a human, though. His thoughts were interrupted as the car had slowed down in the waiting station, and a white head standing nearby moved towards the car. Ruby wound down the window, and the white woman beamed a smile. "Welcome to the Prism Music Festival."